Hello everyone, my name is Anshmeen Kaur, and in this video I will be reflecting on my experience and learning so far in the class. I will be answering 4 questions that help me think critically about the concepts we have covered, such as intersectionality, privilege, microaggressions, and systemic inequality. I will also discuss how these concepts apply to my personal life, how they connect to real world events, and what I plan to do moving forward to act more ethically in my community. Let's dive into the first question. So, I'm going to talk about intersectionality, and I take example from my own life. An example of intersectionality in my life can be seen in my experience as a woman of Asian descent. I have often found myself navigating spaces where both my gender and my ethnicity influence how I am treated. For example, in academic settings, I have experienced both the model minority stereotype, where people assume I am academically gifted due to my ethnicity, and the expectations that come with being a woman, such as being expected to take on more collaborative or supportive roles in group work. These intersecting identities affect how I am perceived and how I interact with others. If one of these identities were different, for instance, if I were not a woman, I think I would be treated more as an equal in leadership roles or in academic discussions. This example shows that intersectionality is not just about experiencing oppression, but also about understanding how different aspects of identity, race, gender, class combine to create unique dynamics. So next, I'm going to talk about my chosen topic. This is most connected topic in the class so far. The topic that has connected most with me is microaggressions. Before this course, I had a general understanding of what microaggressions were, but the class discussions have really deepened my understanding. Microaggressions are those small, seemingly harmless comments or behaviors that over time have a cumulative effect of marginalizing or invalidating someone's identity. For instance, being told you're really good at English for someone from your country may seem like a compliment, but carries an underlying stereotype about one's culture background. What I have learned is that microaggressions are often not intentional, but they still reinforce harmful biases. One question I have been thinking about is how can we address microaggressions without making people feel defensive? The complexity lies in how deeply ingrained these behaviors are in society. Moving forward, I want to keep learning about how microaggressions contribute to systemic inequalities and how we can create more inclusive spaces by understanding them. Now I'm going to talk about the third question, that is applied concept, news, article, and key concept. I recently read an article about the rise in protests against the rising cost of healthcare in the US. The protests highlight the struggles of low income communities, particularly communities of color who face disappropriate challenges in accessing affordable healthcare. A concept that helps me understand this issue better is structural inequality. Structural inequality refers to the ways in which societal institutions and systems are set up to benefit certain groups while disadvantaging others. In the case of healthcare, the way healthcare is distributed, especially in terms of affordability and accessibility, often disadvantages people from marginalized backgrounds. Using this concept, we can see that it's not just about individual access to care, but a larger systematic issue where economic status and races are deeply connected to one's ability to receive quality healthcare. These concept helps explain why certain communities are more likely to face poor health outcomes and why protests are a response to these systemic disparities. So let's talk about the fourth one, ethical interaction and plan for improvement. One issue I am passionate about is income inequality, particularly how it affects us access to basic resources like housing and healthcare. To address these, I want to volunteer and with local organizations that support affordable housing initiatives or advocate for policies that promote economic equity. Personally, I can also be more mindful of the ways I contribute to or inequality, like being conscious of the privilege I hold and how that might impact my interactions with others. I also want to learn more about economic justice and policy reform to understand how I can advocate for changes that will have a positive impact on marginalized communities. Moving forward, I plan to educate myself further on how I can advocate for systemic changes in the areas of income equality and affordable housing, and use my voice and actions to contribute to a more equitable society. And in the end, I just want to say thank you to everyone. I hope you like it.